See, that's how we get stuck. So then we come back to the question, you know the problem. What are you waiting for? I I was watching a friend on Facebook today, and he was learning to play the piano. And he made this statement, and it may come from a book. I don't know. I've never read the book. I know this statement. I've heard it before. And he said it's when you shift your mindset from one day to day one. Well, I'll do it one day, or I'm going to do it today. Today is day one. Day one is awkward. Day one is hard. Day one requires intentionality. But it's that moment that you realize day two will be a little bit easier, but just as necessary. Day three begins to flow a lot better. But guess what? Day six and day seven, tough. Because when you got in what you thought was going to be easy, life happens. And you make the decision, I refuse to fail today because I don't want to have to go back to day zero. Because there is a day zero. You just don't go back to day one. You have the thought. When you fail, you go back to the day zero moment where you're like, is this worth it? I've tried it and I failed. I'm done. I can't do it anymore. See, that's where that shame and disappointment and insecurity, that's the day zero moment that so many people struggle with. When we fail, we don't want to continue to be a failure, so we just don't do it. That's where the excuses come in. See, if your life is filled with day ones, eventually you'll make it to day two. Eventually you'll get to day three, day 10, day 75. I'm on 22 today, 3 weeks in. I've got a long way to go. But you know what? When you hit 21 days in a 75, you can't turn back. I've come too far to turn back now. When you're in your marriage, why would you want to go back to a place of less than? You don't have to go back to do the things you did. You bring those mindsets, those things that helped you then when you're struggling in your marriage, don't go back. Bring those things with you. Life is hard. The things you're looking at in the mirror and you know you need to be better in. Don't use those to accuse you of saying this is all you'll ever be. Don't use those to downplay yourself, to undermine you, to demean your value. Look at the person ahead of you. Look at the steps that, you know what, I want to be a little bit healthier. I want to have a closer marriage. I want to have a closer walk with God. I sit with people all the time as a pastor, and they're like, I know I need to know more about the Bible. I need to know more about this God, but I don't know where to begin. Do you have a good starting point? I said, yes, open the Bible. But where do I turn? It doesn't matter.